What's up guys, Josh from Side Star Reptiles. I figured I'd do a video on how to wire a Ranco thermostat. Ranco thermostats do not come pre-wired, you have to wire them yourself, and a lot of people get a little finicky when it comes to doing electrical work. I'm going to show you guys that it's not as hard as it seems. We're going to first go through with everything you might need to get this done. First thing you're going to need is the Ranco thermostat, surge protector with the end cut off and all the wires stripped, a jumper wire about 4 inches long with each end split, wire nut, male end of an extension cord with the end cut off and all of the wires exposed. A knife might come in handy, a Phillips head screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, a wire, what do you call it, cutter, and maybe a pair of scissors. Alright guys, sorry about the bad light. The first thing you want to do is unscrew all 4 of these screws. They don't come out, they just loosen up to a certain point and stop. Take off your cover. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to fold this back. Now, for this application, we're only using 120 volts, so we on these two nodes, we're going to be using the middle and the far right on each one. The ones on the left, we're not using, because I'm doing 120, not 240. You're going to take your flathead, place it in here, and loosen these up as far as they will go. Again, these screws will not come out either. Loosen them all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, the ones on the far left, here and here, we're not using. We're using the ones in the middle and the ones on the end. Go ahead and loosen those up. Next thing you want to do is you're going to cut your male end of your surge protector off, and you can throw it away or save it for another project, do whatever you want to do. And what you're left with is the female end of the surge protector. You're going to go ahead and strip back the 3 wires. As you can see there, I've got a little bit of exposed wire on that white cable. I'm going to go ahead and wrap that with electrical tape too, just so it's not exposed. Okay, next thing you want to do is cut the female end of your extension cord off, leaving the male attached. And you're going to cut that back and expose the 3 wires on the inside of that, and you can just throw that away or save that for another project. Okay, next you're going to want to take your 2 ends, the female end of the surge protector and what's left of the extension cord with the plug on the male plug on the other side. You're going to want to feed it through that hole. Okay, once you've got them fed through, you're going to take both white wires from both your extension cord and your surge protector, and you're going to splice them together. Easy way to do this is to fan out the wire on both pieces, place them on top of each other, and twist them together. Once you do this, you're going to be taking the white wire, both white wires, and you're going to be placing them on the far right of the top housing unit. Far right. You're going to place them both in there, and you're going to take your flathead screwdriver and screw them down. You want them snug enough to stay in place, but if you don't want to overdo it and crack the housing unit on the wire box. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and show you what it looks like. Okay, as you can see here, we've taken both wires from the extension cord and the surge protector, spliced them together, and screwed them down into the far right of the top box. Okay, next you're going to take your extra piece of wire that you have spliced on either end and the black wire from the extension cord, the male end, splice them together, and you're going to be placing these into the middle position on the top housing. Remember, we're not using the left on either one, just the middle and the far right. Okay, next you're going to take your white wire, your extra wire, your jumper wire that you just wired, and you're going to place it into the far right of the bottom housing unit, screw it down by itself. Alright guys, I had to take the whole thing apart and redo it because I didn't give myself enough room. What I did is I went back and stripped back some more of the rubber coating on the surge protector and the extension cord to give myself more room to work with. So what you're left with now are these two ground wires, which you can put those to the side for now, and this black wire from the female end, the surge protector, and you're going to place that in the middle position on the bottom casing here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and show you what it looks like. Okay, that's what you should look like right now. You should have both the white wires from both the surge protector and the electrical cord placed together and placed in the far right. You should have the black wire from the male end, the extension cord, and your jumper wire, your extra piece of jumper wire, put together and placed in the middle position on the top. And then you should have the other end of your jumper wire by itself in the far right position, and you should have the black wire from your female end, your surge protector end, in the middle by itself and tightened down. And what you're left with is these two ground wires. So all you're going to do with these two ground wires is you're going to splice them together and cover them up with a screw nut, and I'm going to put a little bit of electrical tape on there just to be sure, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so this is what you should look like. Everything's wired up or ready to go. What you're going to do is you're going to basically put the housing box back together, and then we'll go through how to set your Ranco up to work and the features that it has. I'll go through why I went with the Ranco on the next smidge of the video, but go ahead and place your lid back on and screw these 4 screws back down. Alright guys, once you put it back on, I'll put it back together and plug it in. You should get an immediate reading. I'm at 77 right now. You can see how quick the thermostat or the probe gauges your temperature. I'm just testing it out in my hand real quick, just holding it. Bounced up to 78, 79, so it's pretty quick. 80, and all this is reading is the temperature that I'm holding this at. So this thing is supposed to be pretty easy to set up. We'll go through and see. You're supposed to be able to hit the set button, and you've got an up and down button to choose between Fahrenheit and Celsius. I'll be using Fahrenheit. So then I'll go ahead and hit the set button again. This is the temperature that you want up and down, temperature that you want to set it at. I'm setting mine for 90 for leopard geckos. Okay, hit the set button again. Your differential, since I'm using this for reptiles, the differential is not the temperature that it has to drop before it cuts on. The differential on this is the temperature that it can go over 90, and then the unit will turn off and stop heating your heat tape. So I'm using 1 degree. It goes up. So it goes up to, I guess it goes up pretty high. But for reptiles, I don't want a huge differential. I don't want it overheating, so I'm going to 1. I don't want to get too hot, too higher than 90, and go and have it shut off like that. Now this is where you get to choose cold 1, heat 1. I want mine on heat, and hit setting, and it goes back. It's set. Right now it's reading 81 degrees in here. And go ahead and place your probe where you want it to go. Plug your heat tape in and start running heat temps. That's how you wire a Ranco. Not as hard as everyone makes it out to be, not as difficult as everybody makes it out to be. So this is Sideshow Reptiles signing out.